The Ant King turns to Jinwoo and asks, "Are you the king?" Jinwoo remarks saying, "A bug that can talk, how cute." Both of them stand face to face, releasing their powerful auras. The Ant King comments that Jinwoo has quite a threatening presence. Then he screams at Jinwoo while flexing his conqueror haki. Jinwoo smirks and remarks, "Now you're behaving more like an insect." 5 minutes ago, we see Jo-hee and Song Chi-yul. Both are confused by the sudden halt in the broadcast. News agencies reported the death of Min Byung-gu and informed the public that the other hunters were still inside the tunnel. However, it was unclear whether they would be able to make it out safely. But suddenly, they regain the connection and receive news that an unknown hunter has just appeared at the battle scene. The moment the broadcast resumes, everyone is shocked. Meanwhile, a man listens to the last recording of Goto Ryuji. Reiji says, "These were the last words we heard from Goto." The man furiously remarks that there's an ant capable of speaking human language, and on top of that, it killed Goto Ryuji. We are then introduced to the man, whose name is Matsumoto Shigeo, the chairman of the Japanese Hunters Association. Reiji informs him that the ant has returned to the Queen's chamber. The chairman asks if the Korean team is still alive. Reiji confirms they are, but they are also picking up another immense mana signal coming from a different being. On the other hand, Gina asks her mother about Jinwoo. Her mother replies that Jinwoo left in a hurry to go somewhere. Gina immediately rushes to her room, turns on the broadcast on her phone, and is shocked by what she sees. We also see Chairman Go Gun-hee, who is fired up after seeing Jinwoo at the battle scene. The Ant King swings his fist and punches Jinwoo in the face, crushing the ground beneath them and causing a massive explosion. Choi comments, "A mage shouldn't get so close to the enemy." Yoonho remarks that Jinwoo underestimated the ant's strength and ended up taking a hit to the face. As the smoke clears, the Ant King says, "You are weak. You must not be the king." But suddenly, the Ant King and the so-called S-rank hunters are left in shock by seeing that Jinwoo is standing there menacingly and completely unfazed. Jinwoo spits out a broken tooth and uses ruler's authority to pull the Ant King down. He clenches his fist as the Ant King is forced to his knees. Jinwoo swings his fist and lands a devastating punch on the Ant King's face, blasting him away into the distance. Everyone is shocked by this display of power. Coach Ma turns to Choi and Yoonho and asks, "Are you sure that Sung Jinwoo is a mage-type hunter?" Yoonho remarks saying, "I knew Jinwoo was powerful, but I never imagined he'd be this strong." The Ant King rushes toward Jinwoo. Jinwoo remarks, "This ant's body is quite sturdy, probably because of the exoskeleton. How irritating." The Ant King attacks Jinwoo with both hands, crushing the ground with sheer impact. Jinwoo counters with a punch, but the Ant King strikes back again. The two of them clashes with each strike resonating with enormous force. The cameraman is trembling and remarks that even as an A rank, he can barely even stand upright. He feels like he's about to pass out from the overwhelming mana waves alone. The Ant King starts to panic, unable to believe he's losing a battle of strength. While freaking out, he questions, "Just what manner of being is this guy?" Both of them clash again, throwing powerful punches that push each other back. The Ant King is in disbelief as he realizes Jinwoo has broken through his exoskeleton. Jinwoo does not waste a single moment and immediately seizes the opportunity to exploit the Ant King's weakness. He closes the distance and delivers a powerful punch with all his strength, sending the Ant King reeling backward with a devastating blow. But the Ant King isn't without tricks. From his mouth, a poisonous stinger begins to emerge. The Ant King lunges forward and points his weaponized tongue at Jinwoo. Sensing danger, Jinwoo reacts quickly and tries to dodge the attack with all his might. But the Ant King's strike manages to graze him, leaving a light cut on his cheek. It is revealed that after consuming a cone snail, the Ant King gained the ability to use paralysis poison, one of the deadliest substances in nature, and when this poison is combined with the concentrated mana within the Ant King's body, it becomes even more lethal. The Ant King strides toward Jinwoo with a sneer, mocking him and calling him a pathetic, handsome kid. He taunts Jinwoo for his efforts and swings his massive claw, telling him it's time to die as a virgin. The scene shifts to Kanai as she was standing alone in the pouring rain. Her gaze is fixed coldly on someone before her, as if she's staring at garbage. Kanai finally speaks, addressing Minoru with the fact that she just got a call from Sugimoto-san asking about the other's well-being. She also asks what's wrong with him. Minoru's body trembles in fear, as if he just found out his online girlfriend was actually a guy. In a shaky voice, he says there's an S-rank monster that is insanely strong. It's not a monster that mere humans can handle. Minoru continues, saying that even Goto-san and the other hunters were no match for this monster. The girl grabs his clothes as she can't stand for some ugly, disgusting losers' whining anymore. She states bluntly that Minoru is a lowlife who is currently just sitting on the ground. Looking high into the sky, the girl remarks that much bigger problems are ahead of them, seeming to notice something ominous. Jinwoo doesn't take long to recover. He finds the strength to grab the Ant King's arm and surprises it. Without hesitation, Jinwoo throws a powerful punch at the Ant King, blasting him away into the distance. The Ant King is left in complete shambles. The system notifies Jinwoo that detoxification is complete. Jinwoo realizes that the Ant King felt a twisted sense of joy after poisoning him. With a serious expression, Jinwoo senses the Ant King's emotions because of his heightened perception stats gained from leveling up. Jinwoo confidently recognizes the Ant King's growing nervousness. At that moment, Jinwoo begins to feel not only the Ant King's emotions, but also those of the S-rank hunters behind him. Determined to finish the battle quickly, Jinwoo leaps high into the air, aiming to strike with his foot extended to deliver a decisive blow. The force of his kick is so immense that, even after his foot makes contact with the ground, countless rocks begin to fall within the chamber. The S-rank hunters watching the fierce battle are shocked as the Ant King suddenly disappears. Jinwoo notices the Ant King flying in the distance using its wings. The Ant King is reflecting on how even his deadly poison couldn't affect Jinwoo. He concludes that trying to overpower Jinwoo would be futile. The Ant King decides there's no point in facing him head-on. The Ant King resolves to rely on his true strength, which is its overwhelming speed. Contracting his body and focusing all his energy on increasing his velocity, he makes up his mind to end the battle quickly. Declaring that playtime is over, he prepares to strike. Jinwoo, however, remains completely unfazed. He pulls out his dual daggers as he watches the Ant King high up in the sky, fully prepared for the next move. The Ant King suddenly launches a swift attack, hurtling toward Jinwoo, but his gaze instantly changes to a slightly scared look, as he didn't expect Jinwoo to dodge so easily. Jinwoo sneaks up behind the Ant King to strike, and puts all his effort into crushing him. However, the Ant King blocks the attack with his claws, and manages to throw Jinwoo away, but without wasting a second, Jinwoo charges at him again, and the two continue their bloody battle, moving at incredible speed from one place to another. The Ant King grows desperate as he realizes Jinwoo isn't just keeping up with his speed, he's moving even faster. In disbelief, the Ant King mutters, "How is this even possible?" Jinwoo remarks that the Ant King is as strong as the Demon King, or perhaps even stronger. However, Jinwoo leveled up after defeating the Demon King, and now wields a far more powerful weapon. On top of that, he has inflicted significant damage on the Ant King's exoskeleton, which has started to crack in several places. Jinwoo confidently believes the end is near. The two clash again, with Jinwoo unleashing continuous barrages of attacks. The Ant King, now in a panicked state, struggles as Jinwoo's relentless strikes pushes him back and create an opening. Without wasting any time, Jinwoo swings his dagger and activates the skill critical hit, unleashing a flurry of simultaneous attacks on the Ant King. The system then informs Jinwoo that his skill critical hit has been upgraded to its maximum level, Mutilate. In a panicked state, the Ant King screams as he swings his remaining arm, managing to push Jinwoo back. Completely disturbed by his situation, the Ant King questions himself, "Is there nothing I am superior to this human in?" But then, he remembers there is still one trump card left in his pocket. The Ant King begins screaming as he activates a skill, clearly trying to call his minions. Within seconds, an entire army of ants appears behind him, ready to fight. Jinwoo watches the large army gathers before his eyes with his usual calm demeanor, showing no reaction. The Ant King was seemingly pleased with the work he has done, and turns to Jinwoo and asks, "How is it human?" Jinwoo simply smirks at the question. He orders his shadow army to rise from the ground. Shadows begin emerging as Jinwoo commands his army to charge. The armies from both sides rush toward each other, setting the stage for an epic and decisive battle. Jinwoo's shadow soldiers clashed violently with the Ant King's army. Igris asserted his dominance on the battlefield. With his long blade, he sliced through the horde of ants with ease. The high-level orcs relied on their raw power, shattering the defenses of their enemies as their blades slashed and cut through the ants. Jinwoo made his next move, summoning another powerful ally. As Tusk appeared, Jinwoo spoke firmly, ensuring he understood the orders. With the Orb of Avarice in his hand, Jinwoo gave a stern warning that Tusk should only target the ants. Any harm to humans would result in him never being summoned again. Understanding the gravity of the command, Tusk nodded confidently. He activated his skill, Hymn of Giants, and his size increased dramatically. Tusk prepared a massive fireball and unleashed his next skill, Hymn of the Fire Dragon. In an instant, a pillar of fire erupted from his position. The battlefield was soon engulfed in flames as Tusk rained fire down upon the ants, annihilating everything in his path with devastating force. Taegyu was left stunned by the display of power, hardly able to believe that such a creature had been summoned by Jinwoo. Dongwook was equally shocked. feeling as though they were witnessing the arrival of a demon rather than a mere summoned beast. Meanwhile, the Ant King, who had always believed himself to be the strongest, began to tremble with fear. His confidence shattered as he watched his subjects being obliterated. He couldn't comprehend how, after devouring everything in his path and claiming his place at the top of the food chain, he was now facing an enemy so overwhelmingly powerful. He had always believed he was the king. But now, the Ant King realized that to survive, he had no choice but to flee. In an instant, his concern for his kingdom and soldiers vanished. The only thing that mattered to him was survival. Thanks to the healing ability he had acquired by devouring Min Byung-gu, his severed arm had regenerated quickly. Jinwoo noticed that the Ant King was using the healing ability of Min Byung-gu. It was the first time Jinwoo had seen a magic beast capable of absorbing the abilities of those it had consumed. The Ant King flew into the air, desperate to escape. His only thought was to get as far away from Jinwoo as possible. But before he could flee, Jinwoo activated his skill, Ruler's Authority. An invisible force pressed down on the Ant King, slamming him into the ground with immense force. The impact was brutal, making the Ant King cough up blood. Jinwoo walked toward the fallen Ant King, who was now trembling in terror. The fear in the Ant King's eyes was so palpable that Jinwoo almost felt pity for him. The Ant King desperately tried to crawl away, utterly traumatized by Jinwoo. But Jinwoo wasn't going to let him escape. He activated his skill, Mutilate, and quickly caught up to the fleeing Ant King. With unmatched speed, Jinwoo wielded his daggers, unleashing a flurry of rapid strikes on the Ant King's back. His movements were so fast, they created a web of blinding blue energy. Jinwoo's final devastating move marked the end of the battle, leaving the Ant King defeated and broken on the ground. A notification popped up, signaling Jinwoo's victory, confirming the enemy's defeat, and informing him that he had leveled up. Suddenly, Yunho called Jinwoo in a desperate tone. Jinwoo quickly noticed that his future wife Cha Hai-in was in critical condition. Jinwoo said he needed to find a healer fast, but the shadow exchange wasn't all powerful, and there was still cooldown time remaining. He hadn't tested whether he could move with another person tagging along. Even if he went with Kaisel, Cha Hai-in would likely die before he could return. He wondered if there was a healer from the Blade Guild who was still alive, but time was not on his side. Desperate, Jinwoo asked the cameraman to turn off the camera for a moment. The cameraman didn't understand his request. Jinwoo warns him that if he didn't shut it off, he will smash it into pieces. The cameraman shuts his camera but was still curious about why Jinwoo wanted the camera off. Jinwoo then ordered his shadow soldiers to find Min Byung-gu's body. Yunho was confused, unable to understand why Jinwoo needed his corpse. One of the orcs eventually found the body and laid it before Jinwoo. Jinwoo questioned himself. Would this even work? Yunho asked what he is planning to do. The system clarifies that shadow extraction could be used on this target, giving Jinwoo some relief. He knew this is the only way. Jinwoo gave the command, "Arise." The shadow extraction begins, but it fails. Jinwoo tries again, repeating the command, "Arise," yet it failed once more. Jinwoo speculated that his extraction skill level should be high enough for a simple extraction like this. Perhaps it isn't working because Byung-gu strongly opposed the idea of becoming a shadow soldier. Maybe he feel immoral to turn a human being into one, but he had to save the mother of his children. With no other options, Jinwoo made a final attempt. He said the command, "Arise." The shadow extraction began again. Yunho furiously demanded to know what Jinwoo is doing to Byung-gu. However, he was suddenly shocked and asked Jinwoo, "Do you have the power to command the dead?" To everyone's astonishment, Byung-gu successfully resurrected. Choi asked Jinwoo, "Can you truly harness the power of the dead?" Coach Ma added, "You are no ordinary summoner, that's for sure." Min Byung-gu's shadow walked near Jinwoo's wife. He opened his book and stretched out his arm. Yunho wondered if Byung-gu was healing her. Jinwoo replied that he couldn't fully describe what kind of person Min Byung-gu was, but Jinwoo hadn't given him any orders. Yet, Byung-gu started healing his wife on his own. Jinwoo could tell that Byung-gu had a warm heart. Yunho, filled with grief, said, "That thing is no longer Byung-gu." Jinwoo agreed, acknowledging that Yunho is right. Choi remarked that the longer a battle lasts, the more powerful Jinwoo becomes, which is quite a frightening ability. Yunho says to Jinwoo that he would likely take part in many battles from now on, and he was sure Byung-gu's abilities would prove useful. However, Yunho added that Byung-gu had hated violence. He then requested Jinwoo not to make him fight on the battlefield again. Jinwoo says that it was the second time Yunho had grabbed his shoulder, and while brushed his hand off, he says, "There's a difference this time. It's not an order, but rather a heartfelt request." Jinwoo says that he agrees with Yunho's words. He walked near Byung-gu's shadow and said, "Terminate extraction." As Byung-gu began to disappear, he looked at Yunho. Yunho gave him a warm smile, and Byung-gu smiled back before finally vanishing. After the extraction, as he bid farewell to his best friend, Yoonho softly says, "Thank you." If you enjoyed the recap, don't forget to give it a like, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more recaps. We'll meet again in the next recap. Until then, have a great time.